When people hear the word recession, they usually imagine rising unemployment, collapsing businesses, and headlines announcing an economic crisis. But what if a recession could happen without everyone noticing? What if millions of people are already feeling economic pain, even while official statistics suggest the economy is doing fine? This is what some economists call a hidden recession. A recession that doesn't necessarily appear in traditional measurements, but is very real for ordinary households. Let's start with the numbers. Economic growth may still be positive. The stock market may be near record highs. Unemployment may remain relatively low. On paper, everything looks healthy. But many Americans tell a different story. Despite working full-time jobs, countless families feel financially worse off than they did just a few years ago. Why? One major reason is inflation. Even if inflation has slowed from its peak, prices remain significantly higher than before. Food, housing, insurance, healthcare, and transportation all cost more than they used to. For many families, paychecks have not increased enough to keep up. As a result, people may technically be earning more money while actually having less purchasing power. This creates a feeling of recession even when economic data says otherwise. Another warning sign is consumer debt. Credit card balances have reached record levels in recent years. Many households are relying on debt simply to maintain their lifestyles. When people use credit cards to pay for groceries, utilities, and basic necessities, it may suggest underlying financial stress. Savings are also becoming a concern. During the pandemic, many Americans built large savings accounts. But much of that excess savings has gradually disappeared. As savings decline and debt rises, financial pressure increases. The housing market is another example. Home prices remain high in many areas, while mortgage rates have risen significantly. Millions of people who want to buy homes simply cannot afford them. Others are trapped in existing homes because moving would require taking on a much higher mortgage payment. This creates a sense of economic stagnation even when property values remain elevated. The job market also tells a more complicated story than headlines suggest. While unemployment rates may appear healthy, many workers are taking second jobs, freelance work, or side hustles just to cover expenses. Some people are employed, but still struggling financially. Being employed does not always mean being financially secure. This is one reason why consumer confidence often remains weak even during periods of economic growth. People trust their daily experiences more than government statistics. And for many households, those experiences feel difficult. There is also a growing divide between different groups of Americans. People who own stocks, businesses, or real estate have often benefited from rising asset prices. Meanwhile, renters and lower-income households have faced increasing costs without receiving the same benefits. This creates two very different economic realities. One group feels wealthier. The other feels left behind. And that's where the idea of a hidden recession becomes powerful. The economy can appear strong at the top while large portions of the population struggle underneath the surface. Does this mean the United States is officially in a recession? Not necessarily. Traditional definitions rely on economic data such as GDP growth and employment levels. But economic reality is often more complicated than a single number. For millions of Americans, the recession isn't hidden at all. They experience it every time they pay rent, buy groceries, fill up their gas tank, or check their credit card balance. The biggest question isn't whether a hidden recession exists. It's how long policymakers can ignore the growing gap between strong economic statistics and the financial struggles of everyday people. Because eventually, that gap may become impossible to hide.